I hope many would know that we can use our Raspberry Pi as home assistant tool, but not many people would know how to do that. It is very much possible if we install the Home Assistant operating system on your Raspberry Pi. This video will show you how to install Home Assistant operating system onto your Raspberry Pi using Raspberry Pi Imager, which is a very simple process. So you will be running Home Assistant OS instead of Raspbian on your Raspberry Pi. So if you want to proceed with this, you can either use your existing memory card or you can use your new memory card so that you won't lose Raspbian on your Raspberry Pi. So here in this table, you can see the comparison between Home Assistant OS, container, core and supervised. In this video, we are going to install Home Assistant OS. So here it has all the features, but in containers, you can see you cannot install add-ons. You can also not perform one-click updates using container based. And then if you use Home Assistant core, then also you have same problems like add-ons will not be available and updates will not be available. But in operating system, you will get automatic updates as well as you can install add-ons. So that is the major difference. Now let's get started. So to do that, go to the installation and click on Raspberry Pi. So here you will see that it is suggesting the hardware of Raspberry Pi 5, 4 and even 3 with model B, and it needs to be used with power supply. And in this video I'll be using Raspberry Pi 5. You can use any of them, and you need a micro SD card. As I mentioned earlier, you can start using with the existing SD card with Raspbian that you have, but it will be wiped off. And if you want to keep the memory of your Raspbian as it is, then you can use a new SD card for this operating system. So the suggestion is that application class 2 level of micro SD card to be used, and then we need SD card reader. And another mandatory thing is Ethernet cable, because when we start using it, we'll not be having Wi-Fi. So we have to connect the Ethernet cable to your router. So that is very important. So you need to have that. Next thing, we can get started with Home Assistant operating system. So first we need to use this Raspberry Pi Imager. If you don't have that, you can download that from here, raspberrypi.com software, and you can download this Imager. So I have already downloaded, so I'll just open that. So now you can see the Raspberry Pi Imager is available. The next step that you need to do is you need to take the SD card and SD card reader and insert that SD card onto the SD card reader and plug it onto the computer. And now we need to select which device you are going to use. So I am going to use Raspberry Pi 5, and the operating system should be other specific purpose OS. And here you can go to Home Assistants, and here you can find Home Assistant, and from here you will be having two options. One is RPi 5 and another yellow. So you need to use the operating system OS, this one. Once that is done, you can click on storage. So here you should see your SD card. So once you have selected the SD card as your storage device, click on next, and then this warning pop-up will come up where it will say all the existing data will be erased. So be sure that you don't have any data to be backed up in the existing SD card, and then click on yes. So it will take 5 to 10 minutes. Now once the write is complete, you can see this pop-up and you can click on continue, and that's it. The OS image of Home Assistant is on your SD card. Now you need to remove the SD card from your SD card reader and insert into the Raspberry Pi. Once you have inserted the SD card to your Raspberry Pi, now you need to make sure that you connect the Ethernet cable, and that Ethernet cable to be connected to your router. and then power on your Raspberry Pi. So once this is done, so you need to type homeassistant.local 8123 and wait for 10 to 15 minutes. So in the meanwhile, I can also check the IP address of the Home Assistant. So for that, I can go to the range that I need to find. So go to command prompt and type ipconfig and take the Wi-Fi wireless LAN range that is in the 192.168.29. So I'll go to Angry IP scanner and provide the range of 192.168.29.0 to 29.254, and when I click on start, it will scan and find out all the host names that are available based on the ping and the port numbers available. And when I click on sort by ping, I can find the Home Assistant as a host name. So for this, you can see 192.168.29.66 is the IP address assigned. So you don't have to use this IP address, but this is just to confirm that your Home Assistant operating system is working properly or not. So you don't have to worry whether your page is coming up within 5 or 10 minutes. You have to wait for it. So if it doesn't come, you can also unplug the power supply and then plug it and then wait again. And also, if you find the IP address 192.168.29.66, you can also use that and wait here. So after a few minutes, I can see create my smart home. So I'll click on this and provide the details. So this is how you can install Home Assistant operating system on Raspberry Pi. That's all for today's video. I hope this video has been informative. If yes, please type helpful in the comment section below. I have also made a video on how to install Home Assistant Core using Docker on Windows. Please check that video on the top right corner or in the description below. Your support means a lot to us and helps us keep creating more content like this. So please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another interesting video.